Nervous tick motion of the head to the left from Andrew Bird. That's from the Current live in studio from 89.3, the Current NPR station up in Minneapolis. Good morning, Vaqueros. This is DJ Doc V coming to you live from Brownsville today. A little different. I was out on the island last night and thought, well, why go all the way back to Edinburgh, stay overnight, come out to Brownsville, do office hours from the Brownsville studios. So really enjoyed listening to the previous show with DJ Morena Libre and DJ JC. That's an awesome name. Isn't that an awesome name, DJ JC? I love that one. Oh, boy. And their feminist, is it called a feminist hour or something like that? Hey, sounds great. Really enjoyed the music. Really enjoyed what they were talking about there. And I think it's going to be a great show. So make sure if you missed it today that you check it out next Friday at 9 a.m. They're also operating here out of Brownsville, DJ Morena Libre and DJ JC. So great show. Got some great music picked out for you today, as we always do in office hours. We've got the This Day in History. And then I've got a poem picked out for you from Gallery Magazine 2020 edition. We'll do that up at the 50 minutes after the hours when we usually do that one. So thanks for tuning in, and let's get back to the music with a little bit of Boston here on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Oh, what a beauty there. That's Tori Amos with Silent All These Years. And that starts off with a poem recited by Leonard Cohen, a poem of his own making there. And that's on the KCRW Rare On Air Volume 1 CD. It's another public radio station in California that does in studio. They do alternative music, unlike a lot of the public radio stations that just do classical. And I think 89.3, The Current in Minneapolis, took a page from the KCRW playbook. So that was Leonard Cohen with his poem and Tori Amos with Silent All These Years. Before that, you heard Husker Du from their New Day Rising album. That one was called I Apologize. And we started that set off with Boston and More Than a Feeling from their self-titled debut LP. Good morning, Vaqueros. This is DJ Doc V. Thanks for tuning in to Office Hours. Shout out to my buddy Steve out in Spokane. I have no idea what the temperature is out there, but it's 82 here in Brownsville. Looks like we're expecting a high this afternoon of 91, about a 20% chance of rain. I'm heading out to the island this afternoon, so hopefully it'll be nice out there. I want to get a chance to dip my toes in the water. I want to get into that for sure. So 91 this afternoon. It looks like this week. Let's see what this forecast. It is Friday. Tomorrow it looks like a high of 93, high of 92 on Sunday, and Monday another high of 92. Looks like we've got some more rain in the forecast. I definitely hit some rain when I was heading out to the island yesterday around, Alamo, Mercedes area, and then coming into Harlingen and turning the corner, heading south to Brownsville. The rain let up, which was really nice. But I wonder if the cloud cover was the problem. Why my GPS maps all of a sudden stopped working? Kind of freaked me out a little bit. But we've got a great poem picked out for you from Gallery Magazine. This is a production of UTRGV Student Media. We'll do that at 50 minutes after the hour. And at the bottom of the hour, as we always do, I've got This Day in History. Really a couple of interesting stories I want to focus on there. But for now, let's get back to the music and a little bit of ministry. You can never get enough ministry on a Friday, that's for sure. This one's called Just One Fix. And you only hear it on Vaquero Radio. It's a little REM for you from their Green LP. That's World Leader Pretend. No secret, REM's a very political band, so they're taking pot shots there at the world leaders that are pretending to be leaders, I guess it's fair to say. Good morning, Vaqueros. It is 10:33. This is DJ Doc V. You're listening to Office Hours on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. And as we do every week at around this time, let's talk about what happened this day in history. back on September 16th, 1932, in his cell at the Yerwada jail in Pune, Mohandas Gandhi begins a hunger strike in protest of the British government's decision to separate India's electoral system by caste. He was a leader in the Indian campaign for home rule. He worked all his life to spread his own brand of passive resistance across India and the world. By 1920, his concept of satyagraha, or insistence upon truth, had made Gandhi an enormously influential figure for millions of followers. He was jailed by the British government from 1922 to 24 and withdrew from political action for a time during the 1920s, but in 1930 returned with a new civil disobedience campaign. This landed Gandhi in prison again, but only briefly, as the British made concessions to his demands and invited him to represent the Indian National Congress Party at a roundtable conference in London. After his return to India in January 1932, Gandhi wasted no time beginning another civil disobedience campaign, for which he was jailed yet again. 8 months later, Gandhi announced he was beginning a quote-unquote fast unto death in order to protest British support of a new Indian constitution, which gave the country's lowest classes, known as untouchables, their own separate political representation for a period of 70 years. Gandhi believed this would permanently and unfairly divide India's social classes. A member of the more powerful Vaisya, or merchant caste, Gandhi nonetheless advocated the emancipation of the untouchables, whom he called Harijans, or quote-unquote children of God. So that happened back in 1932. Also, really, really interesting story here. I'd really like to read a little bit more, so we're not going to do a whole lot of them. But in 1845, Phineas Wilcox is stabbed to death by fellow members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Nauvoo, Illinois, because he is believed to be a Christian spy. The murder of Wilcox reflected the serious and often violent conflict between the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the surrounding communities. That's the Mormons, for any of you that aren't familiar with the full proper name of the Mormon Church. Joseph Smith, who founded the religion in 1830, had been living with his followers in Missouri, where they had various conflicts with locals, including an armed skirmish with the state militia. I mean, this is hardcore stuff, man. In 1838, Governor Lilburn Boggs signed a military order directing that the Latter-day Saints be expelled or exterminated. Quote, "The Mormons must be treated as enemies and must be exterminated or driven from the state, if necessary, for the public good." Smith and his followers fled across the Mississippi to Nauvoo, Illinois, which quickly became the second most populous town in the state. But there were conflicts and tensions in Nauvoo as well. When a local newspaper printed editorials claiming that the religious leader was a fraud, Smith sent a group of followers to destroy the newspaper office. Good Lord. No freedom of the press going on here, I guess. He was then arrested and sent to jail, where a lynch mob tracked him down and killed him. Brigham Young, who quickly took command of the church and its followers, tried to stifle any dissent and banish his rivals. The killing of Phineas Wilcox was part of his consolidation of power. Tensions with other communities continued to escalate, and a year later, over 2,000 armed men marched on Nauvoo. Young decided that it no longer was wise to stay in the area. He led his flock west and settled in the Salt Lake Valley, where he and his followers would become instrumental in founding the state of Utah. So that was this day in 1845, the suspected Christian spy murdered. We always do a little This Day in History here on Office Hours. Thanks for tuning in, Vaqueros. This is DJ Doc V. It is 10:37, so we got about another 23 minutes or so. Here's a song that'll kick you in the teeth for a Friday morning. It's Rollins Band with You Didn't Need on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student state. That's the beautiful South with Prettiest Eyes, only on Vaquero Radio. Before then, you heard the Pogues with If I Should Fall from Grace with God. I think that train's already sailed. If I Should Fall from Grace. That was the Pogues. Before then, you heard Let's see here. What did you hear? The Clash with Rudy Can't Fail. We started off that 4-song set, a little bit of extra song for you there, with Rollins Band and You Didn't Need from, that was his the Rollins Band debut album, as a matter of fact. So thanks, Vaqueros, for tuning in today. It is 10:53, and as we always do around this time, I have a poem picked out for you. This is from the 2020 Gallery magazine. This poem is called Everything and Nothing by Kevin Barbosa. You sit there in the passenger seat with abandonment in your eyes, and you realize the antagonizing truth. After all the effort you put from high expectations, at the end of the day, you'll go unnoticed and unappreciated. There's no celebratory gathering, no farewell party or positive reinforcement, just another unwanted, forced occupation waiting for you to begin over again. These days, you don't talk as much as you used to. I sit there behind the steering wheel, still and speechless, numb and empty, as I realize the agonizing truth. Life is just a series of letting go, slowly but surely, accepting the realism that forgiving oneself is not hopeless, how letting go is fundamental for reaching toward something else to hold on to something and someone new. Now, I always smile, but my eyes are oceanic anchors. That's a poem called Everything and Nothing from Kevin Barbosa, published in the Gallery Magazine 2020 edition. That's a production of UTRGV Student Media, which includes Vaquero Radio, KVAQ TV, the Rider newspaper, Gallery Magazine, and Pulse Magazine. So if you get a chance, make sure you pick up the fine productions, the fine written work, and hopefully you're watching KVAQ, their newscast. They've got a great social media presence, and listen to their newscast, as well as the Vaquero Radio newscast, which is every Monday at 2:30 p.m. That's live, usually from the Edinburgh studio. And appreciate you tuning in for that. That's it for me today, Vaqueros. We're going to go back to our pre-programmed stuff starting up at the top of the hour, but I got one more song for you. We're going to let it play through, too. This one's called Love Spreads by the Stone Roses, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station.